Hello and welcome to today's cooking class, my blissful cooking method class. Today we are going to be making this wonderful watermelon-based salad. It's watermelon with cucumber, with avocado, with some other flavors involved, but basically it's watermelon and with a little bit of feta, which has become kind of a classic combination actually over the last bunch of years. Salty and sweet. It's really, really delicious, and I hope you'll all enjoy it. And we'll get right into it in a moment. But first, what we do in these classes is we begin with some breathing, and we're going to set our intention, because the whole point of this is not just to make this wonderful salad. I mean, that's going to be fantastic, but it's really to use this method of cooking, our time together and with ourselves, to calm and regulate our nervous system, to process our emotions and our experience from the day, maybe from deep in the past, who knows, whatever comes up, and to integrate and to sort of come back to ourselves. It's really this big sort of therapeutic experience that we're doing with all of this. So let's just bring our awareness to that to begin with. And I'm saying all this, even though probably if you've been doing this for a while, you already know, because I'm saying it for myself, because today I had such a kind of busy morning of doing so many things at once, bringing up a lot of emotions, a lot of fears. There's a lot of work I'm doing on my business, things I'm wanting to launch, and I'm having to face a lot of my insecurities. And so I was sort of sitting in that all morning, and then I sort of get set up for this, and I can feel it just like thrumming through my body. So, I'm going to be with you in really allowing this work of cooking to do its good work. I really hope that it will today. I know it will, actually. And I'll be letting you know sort of how it goes. And hopefully that's helpful to you. And please, any questions as they either come in, you can sort of put them in the live chat. I'll try to check it from time to time, or send them after. If you have anything that you want to talk about, let me know. Okay. Here we go. And place your hands at heart center. And just set your intention for this class today. Okay, and so for our breathing technique today, I'd like us to go back to one we haven't done in a while. It's called the Viloma breath. It really works to sort of smooth out the breathing, make it slow and smooth, really. And so what we do is we begin by breathing into the first third of our lung. It's like an imaginative process, but we breathe and hold. Breathe into the middle. Hold, and finally the top. All the way to the top, really expanding and allowing your torso to be full, like feel all of that space and allow your body to follow. And then exhale all together. And allow your body to follow as you empty. So once again, it's first third. Pause, second, the middle, and the top. And exhale. Again, first third, the bottom really. Pause, middle, pause, and top. You can kind of see what my body's doing. So exhale. And now let's turn it around. We're going to we're going to inhale all the way. Pause at the peak, then exhale the top. Allow the body to settle. Middle and bottom. Inhale again. Exhale the top. Middle and bottom. One more. Inhale, long and smooth. And exhale the top, the middle, and the bottom. Wonderful. I already feel a little bit better, a little bit more calm. What this does is, it's funny, but when we interrupt our breathing pattern on purpose, it kind of forces us to bring some awareness to the breathing. What we do in our sort of daily pattern motion, going around, doing our things, is we will often go, like catch our breath and sort of be surprised by something, or be holding, like for example, maybe as I'm setting up my camera stuff for this, I'm probably doing it and going, like holding my breath for a moment as I do something that I'm unsure of. Oh, am I going to get it right? That kind of thing. And I hold and I make the body sort of hold on to that tension. And we get into that kind of pattern. And when we do something like this, it resets us to have this smoother flowing breath, which tells our body everything's okay. Everything's going to be okay. You are safe. All is well. And that good feeling then allows us to, of course, do what we need to do in our days much more effectively and with a better feeling in our body, which then gives us feedback loop of like, oh, I can do things and feel good at the same time. I can do even hard things that are challenging to me, or things where I'm not sure how well I'm going to be able to do, if I'm going to do them right, and I can still feel good while I do them, which is such an important lesson to be able to experience, so that we can kind of move on and up and experience personal growth and meet our goals and all that kind of thing. So my apologies for the sort of lengthy lecture, but I hope that's helpful. Thinking about the breathing and kind of understanding why I do offer these breathing exercises as part of this experience. I'll be doing more teaching hopefully soon if you're interested in all that kind of stuff. So we're going to begin with our watermelon. And I have a little mini watermelon here because it's just me and my daughter here. And it is already open because last night she absolutely had to have some. In fact, we made this little watermelon. We scooped out this watermelon. We made this little bowl, and she was so proud of it. She wanted me to show you all. So here's the beautiful bowl. Maybe we'll serve some of the salad in it to make Io feel good. So what I'm going to do because this is such a little guy, I'm going to cut off the rind like this. And if you have a bigger one, just sort of get the hunk that you are working with, and we're going to try to cube it, make them sort of similar size pieces. Doesn't really matter how you get there. This is the way I'm going to do it. Chopping through this. Okay, and I've got this top part. I can feel myself holding my breath even now. I think we are experiencing a lot of anxiety, which sometimes just happens. Like, gosh, there are just times of life where, and I think it can be healthy, right? To like, I don't feel bad really that I'm feeling anxious. It makes sense. I'm doing stuff that's challenging. I mean, I don't like it. I think that's the thing is I don't like it. I don't like it one bit feeling anxious. And so that's why I sort of avoid it. And then what I notice is then I'm like, oh, you shouldn't. I have these thoughts of like, you shouldn't be feeling anxious and all of this kind of stuff. And then now that is the part to really, I think, be careful with and listen to. I'm just going to put this in this bowl so I can get rid of it easily. Watermelon rinds make great compost, by the way. But yeah, I think those are the thoughts that are like, oh, you shouldn't be feeling anxious. And that's the part that is in Buddhism when they talk about sort of the suffering of suffering. Like all life is suffering. The fact is we sometimes have to be anxious in order to achieve our goals of maybe in my case, it's like building a business and wanting to create more opportunities to connect with people and offer more work. I have to kind of do things that make me really uncomfortable. And that suffering is kind of unavoidable if I want to have these other outcomes. I want to live the life that I'm supposed to live. But the suffering that is avoidable is this part that says, oh, you should be feeling great about everything. If you are scared right now, that means something's wrong and you're bad for feeling this way. That is totally unnecessary. And so I want to be really aware of those thoughts when they come up. And it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm capable of not having them come up. But if I'm aware of them, at least I can go, oh, okay, well, hello, thoughts that say that I shouldn't ever feel anxious. Is that reasonable? Is that realistic? No. I'm a human being. I get anxious. I am challenged by so many things because of my background, because of my temperament, because of life. I'm just cubing this, as you can see. And so anyway, I think the point is just to be careful, I guess, about those kinds of things and to try, as you bring them into your awareness, to then look at them, I think with kindness also, because these thoughts usually are there, I think for me, are from a very young place. This is so nice. I love watermelon. So refreshing. They are from a very young place. And it's just a part of me that wants to enjoy life. And another part of me that's sort of fighting with the part that's like, oh, I never want to experience anything uncomfortable. And the part of me that's going, we really want this thing. And that side that really wants the thing or that is afraid of survival is going like, oh my gosh, if we don't grow our business, we're in trouble. Like, we're not going to make enough money. That kind of, those fears come up and it becomes like sort of survival brain versus like the pleasure brain. And both of those are legitimate desires, but it's just we can't have only good feelings all of the time. It wouldn't be real. And there's nothing wrong with feeling them. There's no reason why I shouldn't feel anything that I'm feeling. And if I can have that attitude of sort of neutral energy toward it, I can begin to feel a lot better. I have two beautiful little Persian cucumbers. If you have a big English cucumber, use that, maybe use half. This is the amount of watermelon I have. I'm going to kind of eyeball it today, but maybe do about half the amount of cucumber. And so I'm thinking two of these little guys. And so this is the version that we're working with today is this This one with these additions of cucumber and we do jalapeno. I have a serrano, serrano. This is not a serrano. I have a poblano, which is a big old pepper. I'm just going to use a few, like maybe half of this, just because I really do like pepper and I don't have a small chili today. I really am needing these deep, soothing breaths, and they're starting to make me feel a little better. And so I think there's a half of me that wants to feel good, and that's being soothed. So I'm quartering these again, and I'm gonna, for the next one, I'm just going to cut it in half. And then quarter each of these before I chop. Because I realize that's kind of the size that I want here. This is how we kind of learn as we go. And the reason I can learn that is because I'm engaged in it, engaged in the moment. I'm not totally on autopilot like we sometimes can get. And it's okay if we get that way, of course. But I was a little bit when I first started chopping. I was talking to you about something else. And so now I can really think about this for a moment and what it is that I want to do and make a different choice with that second one. Cucumbers. Awesome. And then the last thing we're going to do is an avocado. I'm lucky. I have this feels really quite perfectly right, but we'll see when we get into it. That's always the true test. Looks pretty good. A little bit of, the thing about avocados is they can have those little furry bits that go through them, which are a little icky. But this one seems pretty good, so I'm grateful for that. And it'll be lovely in the salad regardless. So I think I'm actually going to save half of this for later because I think it would be a bit heavy on the avocado to do a whole avocado in this. Whoop. I'm thinking, some baby tomatoes would be nice in this too. Could be great. Like really kind of any summer fruit and vegetable would be lovely in this. I do believe. Kind of thinking that peaches might be nice as well. Peaches or nectarines, huge fan. Last week I did the peaches with mozzarella, but peaches with feta would probably be really good too. And I'm using a spoon to take out these little cubes that I created. And hopefully, as you can see, they're in there. Little cubes of everything. And now, again, I think because today I was feeling so much anxiety to begin with, I actually did this a little out of order. I think it would have been a bit more efficient for me to make the dressing in the bowl and then put the vegetables in. But I was just sort of like, okay, I'm going to do the first thing. And so I did the vegetables first, which happens and is totally okay. But I'm mentioning it so that maybe if you're making this again, you might think about doing it that way if you have the wherewithal. But of course, also notice it's no big deal. It's okay to do it this way. So her recipe calls for some garlic. I'm actually going to use a garlic skate because I have them and I love them. I think they're so lovely and they're mild. And I think I'd rather have a really mild garlicky flavor in this than a really powerful one. I'm going to just chop a little bit of this beautiful garlic scape. The garlic scapes, you can get them. I get them at the Park Slope Food Co-op, but you get them at farmers markets a lot of the time. They just have the most beautiful aroma. It's like if a garlic and a pepper kind of came together. Oh, I absolutely love them. So mild and just delicious. Get a little bowl to make the dressing in. It's a really simple, like this is a vinaigrette with garlic in it. And again, Love and Lemon's recipe uses a lime. I didn't have one today, so I'm using a lemon. No big deal, obviously. And chopping this fine, just so that as it mixes in with all of our vegetables, there's just a tiny bit of garlic scape on everything, not just like a few big chunks. So that's my intention there. Very nice. And now some olive oil. Maybe a little more, tablespoon and a half I'm using. And you know what? This is a very seedy looking lemon, so I'm actually going to use this sieve over top rather than just my hand. Don't trust my hand today to be able to handle all these seeds. Yeah, here they come. The sound, the squeeziness, the dripping. Oh, another breath into my nervous tummy. Oh my goodness. I am a nervous little person today. Whew. I really need this. This looks about right. That's probably about 50-50 lemon juice. And then I'm going to add salt. I may just add salt into the whole dish to begin with, but just putting some salt in here so that when I taste it, it brings out all the flavor and I can. That's good. I think I'm a little bit more lemon actually is needed here. It's very olive oily. Needs to be sharper to my palate, right? Which is the one we're going for. I'm the one eating it. It's like you're the one eating yours, so please listen to yours. Mixy. That's better. Oh yeah, okay. That's much better in my humble opinion. Which again, doesn't need to be humble. It's actually the only one that matters, right? Like this is the fun of cooking at home, cooking for yourself. You're the only one who matters. This is not for anybody else's eye, right? And if we notice that we're kind of judging, going like, oh, did I do this right? Would somebody else like this? We can just sort of sit, oh, I've got some basil here. Mint or basil. I think parsley, flat leaf parsley would be great in this too. I just pulled this off of a plant that I have outside. I'm just gonna get rid of some of these stems. I don't have much herbage at the moment, so this is sort of what I've got. Ooh, lovely. So I think this looks pretty darn good. I'm gonna grab that spoon again. Give this a little mix. Oh, the pepper. I am all over the place today, guys. That's okay. But it is kind of funny. I'm just going to take part of this lovely little poblano pepper. And actually, the other day I used a poblano, and I have to say I used bare hands, and I got the chili juice on them, and it was quite painful for a little while. So I'm just going to be careful here. Poblanos are generally not super spicy, but they can be occasionally. Fun thing about chilies of all kinds, it's actually this area, which is called the placenta, and the little seeds that actually carry all of the heat. And so when you take them out, it's really not going to be very spicy, generally. Not super spicy anyhow. That's where most of it is. And that's definitely where the capsicum oil is, which can give you that burning sensation on your skin. And you want to be careful with that. So I'm going to slice this really thin. If I had a jalapeno, I'd probably have just really thin slices, and I might even leave some of the seeds in. That would be fine. But with this larger kind of pepper, the seeds are so big, it's a little bit unpleasant to eat. Okay. Now I'm going to cut it really small. Really little guys, little dice. And if I was adding peppers sort of like big, like a bell pepper, to be sort of a part of the salad, like the way that the rest of the vegetables and the fruit are here, I would chop it bigger. But because I'm kind of using it for flavor, the way that the dressing is, that's why I'm chopping it really fine here. Okay. And now the feta. And I'm just grabbing an arbitrary amount. I think she has like a 1/4 cup or something, but you just do what feels right to you. And I'm going to just crumble this in. Salty, briny feta. So nice. Hands are a little messy. I'm going to wash them. And now the final moment, I add the dressing. I'm just going to use half. Mix it. Oh yeah. I'm going to taste it. And actually, if you want to serve this, make it maybe look a little more fancy. Probably not mixing it like this would be like just putting it on a plate and drizzling over. It might look a little bit more beautiful, but this, I always like my salads to be well mixed, personally. And as you can see, I have a bite here with a little bit of everything in it. It's so good. It's a funny thing, this salad, because I think a lot of people are skeptical about the feta, but it's so good. Just add the rest of this because I want that garlic scape action. Oh, and do a little pepper as well. And for Io, my daughter, I am going to just plate this up in here. Although she'd be like, ew, feta. I don't think she would eat this salad, unfortunately. One day. Like, you're ruining my beautiful watermelon. So there's my fancy look in this cute little bowl of Io's. And I'm excited to eat this. And I've got lots left over. I think it should keep reasonably well for a few hours. I wouldn't necessarily keep it overnight. I think this will keep pretty well. Oh, and after just, 20, what are we at? Like a half hour here. I do feel a little bit better. I still am nervous. I still have to face my fears and work with all that and work on not beating myself up for being afraid of the things that I'm doing. And not get worried about not having enough time or all of that. But now I have food and I did something nice for myself. and I shared it with you all. And I sure hope it was helpful. Let me know what you think about this or anything else that I've said, or anything else that you would like, or any requests you have. And if you're enjoying this, please share it with somebody. I'd love to grow this community. That would be so wonderful. So thank you so very much. And I'll see you next time.